Just how smart is this new Smart ForTwo? Well, it depends on your definition of smart. If we're talking the execution, the concept and the interior of the car, then it is certainly smart. But whether the decision to buy a smart is a smart one is an altogether different issue. The stubby two-seater Smart ForTwo is a popular city car in Europe because it's easy to park and easy to drive with a comfy cabin and low running costs. But South Africans typically demand more than 2 seats and drive much longer distances. So in the local context, the Smart's appeal is somewhat more limited. If we're talking smart transport solutions, why just stick to 4 wheels? This is a Samba light sport aircraft. It has an all-composite body and it has more in common with a Smart than you think. It also only has 2 seats, it's also very lightweight and very economical, but best of all, it never gets stuck in traffic. Of course, there are also some very real limitations. You need an airfield for takeoff and landing, you need a pilot's license to fly, and the Samba is considerably more expensive than a Smart ForTwo. However, if you consider the Smart and the Samba as a combination to get you from A to B, it does open some intriguing opportunities. So let's take a look at what makes each of these machines tick. The ForTwo might only have 2 seats, but it's actually quite a spacious interior, very well equipped too, nicely trimmed, and I really like this infotainment system, which has a touchscreen display and is very easy and intuitive to use. The Samba's cockpit also has 2 seats, but it's not nearly as spacious as the ForTwo. It is reasonably comfortable and the instruments are quite ergonomic by aircraft standards, but a lot more comprehensive. In fact, there are a lot of dials here compared to what you'll see in that little car. In terms of payload and luggage space, the ForTwo offers 260 litres behind the rear seats and can carry a payload of up to 270 kilograms. The Samba is much more limited, the space behind the seats is tiny, and besides you can't carry anything too heavy, especially with 2 occupants and fuel on board. The Smart weighs 880 kilograms without passengers and 1,150 kilograms fully laden. The fuel tank only holds 28 litres but promises a range of 680 kilometers. The Samba tips the scales at just 310 kilograms with a maximum takeoff weight of 540 kilograms. 2 50-litre fuel tanks in the wings allow for a range of up to 1,400 kilometers. The Smart ForTwo's performance is disappointing. The factory figures quote a 0 to 100 time of 14.2 seconds, but frankly at reef altitudes it's a lot slower than that. One of the reasons is the gearbox. It has very tall ratios and you really have to row your way through the box to keep the momentum going. Top speed is 150 kilometers an hour, but only if you have the space and the patience to get that far. The Samba, on the other hand, is a lot more sprightly. It needs only 250 meters for takeoff. It cruises at 200 kilometers an hour and it has a rate of climb of more than 7 meters a second. The little aircraft cruises at 203 kilometers an hour with a maximum speed of 268 kilometers an hour. The Smart is impressively wieldy on the road. It has a turning circle of only 6.95 meters and the power steering makes driving effortless. That said, the ride can be choppy because of the short wheelbase and the steering lacks feedback. By aircraft standards, the Samba is easy to fly and responsive too. Steep turns are executed with aplomb and the stall recovery is benign. As far as fuel economy is concerned, Smart claims 4.1 litres per 100 kilometres for the ForTwo, but in real-world terms, expect 6 litres per 100 or more. The Samba achieves about 7 litres per 100 kilometres at cruising speeds. If you're a city dweller and you only drive short distances, you could probably make a case for the Smart ForTwo. It's compact, it's wieldy, and it's very well equipped. But this is a car that really needs more pep, and it has a horrible gearbox, which means that you should probably not attempt long distances. By comparison, the limitations of this Samba are, number one, that it's more expensive. Secondly, that you need an airfield to operate it. And thirdly, that you have little weight to play with. You only can load 230 kilograms in this aircraft. And once you have 2 persons on board and some fuel, you're probably just about there. But when it comes to traffic-free, cross-country traveling, this aircraft is very difficult to beat. In sheer design and packaging terms, the Smart ForTwo has a lot going for it, but the drivetrain lacks urge and response thanks to the wheezy engine and lethargic gearbox. Rather wait for the turbo engine model and opt for a manual transmission. And for 200,000 Rand plus, there are a lot of rivals that offer better value.